Hey, Island Nature fans, it's Jeff Highland here, content creator behind the channel. I wanted to start this one off a little differently. This is sort of like a dream come true for me. I've been able to film over the last 5 months resplendent quetzals in the mountains of Costa Rica, Monteverde, Costa Rica. And it's really been a dream come true. And I think I captured some really good stuff, behaviors, different settings, male and females together. It's pretty good. So I'm happy to share it with you. And if you're new around here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you liked the video.
Monteverde, Costa Rica, located high in the Tiburon mountain range, includes the country's largest network of private nature reserves that have created protection for some of the rarest habitat types and richest biodiversity found on Earth. In this tiny preserved space, it's said that 2.5% of all life on Earth exists, with more orchids than anywhere on Earth, weird and wonderful insects, and more than 120 mammal species. This biodiversity island is one of the last untouched areas of primary and secondary rain and cloud forest in Central America. Monteverde attracts more than 70,000 eco-tourists annually from around the world, ziplining, hiking, fine dining, and opportunities to see the unique residents who call this preserve home. At the top of the list for many people is the chance to witness more than 400 bird species. But number one on their list is often the resplendent quetzal.
It's called Pharomachus mucinus costarricensis. But this is one of the most beautiful birds. I've seen it a lot of times, hundreds of times, I would say. And it's always like my first time to see one in the forest.
Not known as long-distance flyers, they spend much of their time hanging out on branches, grooming, and digesting avocados.
So they're not like those birds that fly, from one latitude to the other. So they actually stay in a small region. They don't travel more than 30 kilometers from one area to the other.
Quetzals are fruit-eating, medium-sized birds with a particular affinity for wild avocados.
Around 40% of their diet will be avocados. There are like 96 different types of wild avocados in just the area of Monteverde, out of like 130 species that we have in the country. They also eat more like animals' protein, so they eat lizards, frogs, small invertebrates like crickets, grasshoppers, walking sticks.
Quetzals are members of the trogon family, like the collared trogon seen in many of the preserves surrounding Monteverde. Historically, the quetzal is tied to Aztec and Mayan people.
And even the name Quetzal comes from Quetzali. This is in the Nahuatl language, the indigenous language, that means beautiful or precious. So it played a very important role in all these cultures. They consider it sacred. So whoever killed a Quetzal was punished with death penalty.
According to the Mesoamerican mythology, Quetzalcoatl is one of many gods who participated in the creation of humanity. Here, we see the serpent adorned with long green quetzal feathers. The Aztecs would use brightly colored feathers in headdresses worn by their leaders, including the great Aztec emperor, Montezuma. In ancient Mayan culture, the tail feathers were used as a medium of exchange, which is why the Guatemalan currency is still called the quetzal today. It's January, at the transition from wet to windy season in Monteverde. The resplendent quetzals are arriving from lower elevations to an abundance of food available in the network of reserves surrounding Monteverde. The combination of these things, along with cooler temperatures, set the stage for reproduction. This time of year provides better odds for visitors hoping to catch a glimpse of these typically shy and elusive animals.
You know, they start around January. They start like mating. They're gonna be more visible during the mating season, since the birds are calling, and it's not really easy to find sometimes.
Since the Quetzal's main color is an iridescent emerald green gold to a blue-violet ultramarine, depending on the available lighting, finding one is no easy task in a cloud forest. Everything in the canopy is a shiny green, and so many leaves wave just like a male quetzal's long tail feathers. The real secret to knowing how to find them is by listening. Suddenly, your eyes have direction, and hopefully the sounds lead you to this.
During the mating season, what we will hear is like males vocalizing and competing, you know, for a female.
If they're not breeding, quetzals live alone, but starting in February, they'll begin their search for a mate. A male quetzal will risk its life during its flight display to impress a female. Flying high above the canopy and then plunging to the female, its rippling tail feathers will create an acceptable presentation for an approving female. I call this the quetzal smolder. Males are distinguished by several key features: a helmet-like mohawk, a bright scarlet breast, and a yellow-orange beak. Their long tail feathers, described as coverts, form a train usually 3 feet in length. The female lacks the mohawk and has shorter tail feathers, a gray breast and beak, and a bronze-green head. We'll discuss their iridescent feather color a little later on in the video. By February and March, the windy season is still in effect. Females have chosen a mate, and the search for a proper nesting location begins. They'll search for something specific, a tree with just the right amount of decomposition. They'll both share the work of hollowing out the nest so it's just the right size for them and the baby chicks.
They will incubate the eggs for around 18, 19 days. Usually they're 2 little eggs, so 2 eggs like this big, blue sky color. They work as a team to incubate the eggs. Usually the males do it in the day, during the day in the mornings, and sometimes females in the late afternoon or so, or even they spend more time at night inside the nest. Right after babies hatch, you know, they will continue also like working as a team, like both bring in food. Male and the female bringing in small insects at the beginning, you know, during the first 10 to 15 days, and then a few more days later, they eat a bunch of different other fruits. Unfortunately, quetzals have many different enemies in the forest.
80% of all bird nests in the tropics fail. For quetzals, predators come in many forms: coatimundis, white-faced capuchin monkeys, emerald toucanets, and the keel-billed toucan are all known to feed on their eggs and their babies. But despite a low success rate, the pair will try and, if needed, attempt a second clutch of eggs. In about a month, the chicks will leave the nest. Juvenile males will take up to 3 years to fully grow out their upper tail coverts to look like something from a children's fairy tale. The colors of the resplendent quetzal can be described as mesmerizing. Bird feathers are described in 2 ways: pigmented, where color comes from chemical compounds found within the feathers. Common pigments include melanin-producing blacks, browns, and grays, carotenoids producing yellows, oranges, and reds, and porphyrines producing greens and reds. A good example here, a flamingo. Carotenoids give carrots their orange color or turn ripe tomatoes red. They are also found in the microscopic algae that brine shrimp eat. As a flamingo dines on algae and brine shrimp, its body metabolizes the pigments, turning its feathers pink. But with quetzals and any other bird with an iridescent shine, that color is described as structural color. Structural color are produced by the microscopic structure of the feathers, which interact with light to create color. The feathers have microscopic structures that reflect and refract light in specific ways. These structures can interfere with light waves, enhancing some wavelengths and canceling others. This is known as constructive and destructive interference. So pigmented color is usually derived from the bird's diet, whereas structural color are produced by the arrangement of feather components. The evolution of structural colored feathers in birds is likely the result of multiple factors working together, including sexual selection, social signaling, predator avoidance, and environmental adaptation. Each of these factors can play a role in shaping the colorful plumage seen in many bird species today, as is easily observed with the subject of this video. By now you've seen the stunning beauty of the resplendent quetzal. So if you've taken a liking to them, it's important to tell you about the threats they and many other animals inhabiting the cloud forest face. Currently, scientists are tracking fewer days of actual cloud coverage in the cloud forest than historical records show. As primary and secondary forests continue to be slashed for human space, more animal species head for nature reserves seeking food, water, and shelter. In the preserved spaces of Monteverde, scientists are seeing changes like warmer temperatures, reduced precipitation, and increased competition for resources. Scientists have resplendent quetzals listed as threatened because they are seeing a reduced population in different areas of Central America. As nesting locations for quetzals reduce with ever-growing habitat loss, nesting boxes like these are being tested to see if they can help the overall population. Breeding in captivity has only been successful in limited cases. That's why additional habitat conservation and restoration will be critical for keeping a healthy, vibrant population for the resplendent quetzals that call Monteverde home.